following is a non-profit fan-based parody. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT are all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, and Akira Toriyama. Please support the official release. Oh, also, there's a fucking cussing in this podcast. So, if you don't want to hear that, then go away.
Exodus.
Yeah.
So how was it? I had no interest in watching it whatsoever.
I didn't really either, but...
Aside from I like Christian Bale, but that was it. Ridley Scott hasn't done it for me in the past couple of years. Prometheus,
Yeah, I mean...
Which, by the way, when I saw the trailer for Exodus, my first thought was, it has the same text font as Prometheus for the title. I find that hilarious.
Yeah, I mean...
And they're both strangely similar, kind of like based on strangely similar kind of religious texts. Like the story of Prometheus is about a guy who's like, I'm going to take fire from the gods, and then this is about a god who comes down in the form of fire. So, is that in the movie?
What?
Is that in the movie where he comes to Moses in the form of a burning bush and is like, "Yo, Moses"?
Yeah, it is, but they did it a little differently because throughout the film, for some fucking reason that they never really go into, whenever he talks to Moses, he takes on the form of a child.
That seems like a more modern film type of thing to do. Like, Buffy and Angel do that constantly. Like, deities will take the form of, like, things you wouldn't expect them to take the form of, like, usually, like, children.
Yeah. That's something that I've seen done. It's just weird.
Power Rangers did it, too, with fucking Animus.
It's just weird doing it in a fucking Moses movie. Anyway.
It's weird, because it's like, I saw the trailer and I was like, it looks like it's, like, almost trying to be too much of a modern war movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a big battle scene at the beginning of the movie, but I don't know. Anyway, so when Moses sees the bush, the voice of God doesn't come out of the fucking bush. It's like the bush is on fire. Oh, look at that, and the kid's there with the bush. Oh,
that's really weird.
Yeah,
that kind of reminds me of like that scene from Harry Potter in the Half-Blood Prince where Voldemort goes into the fucking into Thomas Riddle's like asylum room, and he's like, "Hello, Thomas," and he's like, "I can talk to snakes, Nagini," and then he like lights a fucking wall on fire, and that like shows Dumbledore like, "Oh, he's crazy."
He can talk.
That's verbatim from the movie.
He can talk to snakes.
Snakes. Oh no, you know who else can talk to snakes?
Dumbledore, would you like to see my serpent god?
Serpent god.
Dumbledore.
Well, on that note, hello.
And
everyone.
Dumbledore's like, yeah, actually, I would've.
I'd like to see your Serpent God does. I want to check it out. I'm always like, oh no, I didn't see this coming. Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar.
What have you done to me?
I am Zazubaar, and welcome to this week's fantastic episode of the Demons from Outer Space. Joining me as always, Dylan McCandless, aka Super DM64.
Monsters Dark Continent sucks.
Yeah, is it really bad?
That's just the message that I want to send out to people. I don't want to talk.
It's just right from the get-go. You just want to fucking, don't even loop them up, you just want to go, bullshit.
Bullshit, and that is all I will say.
Dylan, tell us why.
Shit, now I have to say more.
I got nothing prepared, so go ahead. Take us on a little journey. Let's start off with Monsters Dark Continent. I have not seen it yet, and based on because you were texting me while you were watching it, right?
Yeah.
And based on the things you were telling me, I was like, I have no interest in watching this movie now.
Okay, so you know how the first movie, the monsters and all that shit was in South America?
Yeah.
Well, now they're in the Middle East because subtlety.
And they make no reference as to why, right?
No, they're just in the Middle East. And so, of course, the U.S. is sending troops to kill these things. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, this has led to some civilian casualties, as you might expect. And as a result, we have anti-American insurgents in the area. And that's interesting, it's like consequences of the universe or whatever. The problem is they spend the entire, or almost the entire fucking movie dealing with the insurgents.
Right.
The movie is not about the monsters, at all. The movie is basically a war movie that happens to have monsters walking around in the background. I mean, every now and then they show up for plot convenience. Like the main characters were captured by the insurgents, and then as they're escaping, the monsters show up. One of the monsters shows up and destroys the base, and they get away.
Yeah.
Shit like that. It's just.
Now, is the war plot done poorly?
Yeah. Pretty.
That's the problem then. Because I was about to be like, well, that sounds kind of cool actually, but if the war plot is bad, then that kind of defeats the purpose. Because I've always been kind of interested in stories like that with a major supernatural element that focus on more realistic sides of it.
Well, see, what I like about the first movie, right, is I know people have been saying, well, the first movie didn't have a whole lot of monsters in it either. True, but
it was about them though.
But this one has a budget.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that this one was a sequel to a successful movie, produced by a guy who just directed a super successful movie in a well-established monster franchise.
Yeah. So,
do you think that if they would have shot Monsters Dark Continent after Godzilla came out, because the trailer for this came out like a while ago, like a year ago.
Yeah.
Before Godzilla came out, and it had the chance to kind of hear some of the criticisms that Edwards got for Godzilla, that they would have approached it a little differently?
No, I don't, because I get the feeling from this film that they're not even all that interested in the monsters. I don't know why they even have them there. But see, what I liked about the first movie, right? It's really more of a character piece. It's about that guy and that girl.
Yeah, it really is.
And you learn about the universe that you're seeing through their experiences therein. That's the whole point of their journey. Not only is it about their journey, it's also, you see little snippets of the effects that this big supernatural event has had on the world.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of that going on in Dark Continent, but for the most part it's just the whole idea is that some other soldiers have been trapped in enemy territory and they're sent on a rescue mission, and then they wind up dealing with insurgents, and the monsters never really... They're not even that much of a threat, is the other problem. They're not a threat to the soldiers at all. One shows up and like a couple soldiers on the ground with machine guns take it down.
They also look different in this movie, don't they?
A little, I think. But then again, we never really got a really good look at them in the first movie.
I mean, at the very end, we got a pretty clear... I mean, they're basically just big squids.
Yeah, these have sort of that going on, except with like a little bit more insect qualities mixed in as well. They actually find, at one point in the movie, while he's roaming through the desert, he finds a baby one. That was kind of interesting. I don't know.
Is there much discussion of the monsters?
I mean, the monsters are the reason they're there. That's about it.
Do they give them a name in this one? Because I don't remember if they gave them a name in the first movie.
No, they just keep...
Like, if they called them anything, they just called them the monsters?
The other thing is that they just call them monsters. The other problem is, the reason the first movie works, at least for me, I know some people don't like monsters, whatever.
I mean, people who don't like Edward's style don't like that movie. I hated it the first time I saw it. Well, I didn't hate it. I thought it was... It wasn't what I was there to... It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But then I rewatched it like a year or so later, and I was like, this movie's really good.
Yeah, the thing I liked about Monsters is that... Well, I already explained what I liked about it, but the reason it works is that you like the characters.
Yeah, that, and also there isn't... I mean, I guess there kind of is with the whole he has to get her back to her father thing, or her husband, or what was it, like her husband or her father or whatever.
It's one of those.
She's like the daughter of some rich guy.
Yeah, I think it was a father, and so there is sort of that to get the plot moving. But the reason it works is that you like those characters and you like seeing them go on that journey. These characters, I didn't give a shit about. I was waiting for them to die.
The other thing about the first movie is that the purpose of that plot is to get you into where the monsters are. And then from there, I thought the movie was really good at being like, this movie from at this point on is about seeing the effects the monsters have, which was kind of what I liked about it, because we don't get that a lot in monster movies, because the movies are so focused on the destruction element. and this is something that I thought the new Godzilla movie kind of lacked, was showing the aftermath. What did the monsters do to the world? That was the really interesting thing. And that was something that I thought that Edwards nailed in the first movie, and that he kind of didn't translate enough to Godzilla, and then if that's completely out of this new one, then fuck that movie.
Well, the thing about the Godzilla movie was that this was Godzilla appearing, at least to the general public, for the first time.
Yeah, that was kind of the problem with it. It's a little bit too much, this is going to sound weird, it's a little bit too much of an origin movie.
So he wouldn't have been able to do, like, impact on the world all that much.
That's fair.
If he passes up the ability to do it in the sequels, then fuck him.
Problems will ensue. Yeah, I'm really hoping the next movie is kind of going to be like, well, this is what the world is like now. I'm kind of hoping... this is why I think it's a problem, though. I rewatched Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises in the past week.
And you watched them in reverse order.
I did. Did I tell you about that?
You did. You told me about that.
Oh, okay. I forgot we had this conversation.
No, I just knew, Bill. No, you told me, when did we talk last? Tuesday?
We talked Tuesday when we recorded the Rulers of Earth review. Coming soon, by the way.
No, look out for that.
But I rewatched Rises, then Dark Knight, and then I got home from work, because I watched them at work, and because it was slow. And then when I got home, I was like, I really want to watch Batman Begins. And you know what? Batman Begins is debatably my favorite.
Really?
I really like The Dark Knight. I like The Dark Knight a lot. It is a brilliant, brilliant movie. Rises is good, but it just doesn't have the same punch as Dark Knight and Begins do. But Begins is just such an impressive movie. It's a really good drama. It's a really good kind of character study of Bruce Wayne. It's just a really good, sharp movie, beautifully directed. And as a Batman story, it is the best origin for Batman that I have seen on screen. And they never really get into it that much in the comics either. Like, Batman Year One is not an origin for Batman. It's just the first year of his operation, and he's barely the protagonist. So, that's why I like Begins so much. And also, the build-up to Batman is so badass. Like, that first time you see him in full costume, it's almost as good as Godzilla's appearance in Hawaii in the 2014 movie. Like, it's that kind of level of satisfying of, I'm Batman. It's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah.
And then guess what? We didn't cut away from Batman.
Well, we kind of did. We don't get to see a lot of Batman fighting in that movie. But that's fine, because there's still plenty of action.
You know, one thing that did improve over the course of those movies was the action sequences.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises has really, really spectacular action.
Yep.
Begins in Dark... Well, the thing is that Rises had the opportunity to have bigger action sequences because it's more of a war movie.
Well, the problem with Batman Begins in terms of the action is that he tends to utilize, and he still does this in Dark Knight, but not to the same extent, he tends to utilize a lot more quick cutting. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow exactly what's happening, like blow by blow, you know.
Right. I mean, a lot of times he does it on purpose because he wants to kind of disorient the audience in the same way that Batman's disorienting the criminals, because the whole movie's about fear.
True.
So I felt that was like that first scene where he's taking out bad guys at the fucking drug like when they're bringing in the drugs with Falcone and Flass and all them. It's a really badass scene. Like, it's right out of a monster movie, and that's what I like about it. Where he takes that guy through the crate, and then they're all like, Hey man, you okay? Nothing. And then the Batarang comes through. That was awesome. Batman Begins is also, I think, the best paced of the three movies. I think Dark Knight has, I think the only real thing you can say that Dark Knight struggles with at points is its pacing. And that's just because of how many fucking plot lines it has.
The Joker does a lot of shit in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, here's plan A, and it didn't work. Here's plan B. Okay, plan C.
And rewatching it, it's actually better paced than I remembered it, but it still struggles under the weight of its own story at points. Begins does not have that problem at all. And of course, its plot isn't as complex, I guess. You don't really even know what the villain plot is until the very end, which is done on purpose. It's just kind of sprinkled throughout, which I think was awesome.
I mean, you get clues about what's going on with Scarecrow, but then Ra's al Ghul shows up, and you're like, the fuck?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like that's like, oh, they just waited to the last minute to reveal the villain plot. They build it from the very beginning.
Well, first you're like, Liam Neeson?
Because the whole reason that Roz goes to Bruce, because that was the thing that I was questioning when I was first watching it, was like, I never thought about why the fuck does he seek out Bruce Wayne? And then later on they say, well, it's because you're Gotham's favorite son. You'll be in a perfect position to burn the city to the ground. So that's why they sought out Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bruce does exactly what they didn't want him to do.
Although I kind of called the movie's bluff the first time I saw it, back in 2005 in the theater.
When we were 10.
I knew that Asian guy was not the real Ra's al Ghul.
I didn't know who Ra's al Ghul was when I saw Batman Begins.
Really? Well,
no, I hadn't seen him yet in the animated series, and I hadn't gotten into the comics at that point.
Oh, well, I did know who Ra's al Ghul was, and I was very excited that he was in the movie at all, because, well, he's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
That's one thing I loved about that movie, is that they used him and Scarecrow to film villains who hadn't been used before.
Yeah, and then Dark Knight Rises kind of were like, we're going to not do that. But to be fair to both of them, they both took villains that were problematic in the first series and then did them awesomely in that universe.
Well, and I mean, how many more not very well-known Batman villains could they have done? I mean, a lot of them aren't that interesting. I don't want to see a Killer Moth movie.
Yeah, I mean, the question was, who were they going to do? I mean, they had a couple options. Like, they had...
They could have done Killer Croc, would have been cool.
Killer Croc would have been a little bit problematic in that universe, though, if they were going to do something aligned with the comics. They probably could have... To be fair, with Ra's al Ghul, they did something that was completely different from the comics in terms of the character's origins.
Yeah, well,
at least in regards to what he is. But
the way you do Killer Croc, you don't have this souped-up version of Killer Croc that we get nowadays, right? You take it back to just the classic idea. He's a guy with a rare skin condition that makes him look like
and he's just muscular.
And he just happens to be very well-toned. Because
you can also you can make him a cannibal, too. That's fine. I mean, he wasn't that originally. That was added later on.
Yeah.
But making him a cannibal is fine.
To make him more crocodile-like, I suppose.
And maybe he could sharpen his teeth. Maybe that would be going a little bit too far for Nolan. I don't know. We never got to see him attempt it, so who knows? They'll kill him.
I mean, Ledger, Joker cuts a smile into his own face, so
exactly. That's well. Who knows? Who knows how that smile? Who knows who put a smile on his face?
So there is precedent in the Nolan universe for self-mutilation.
And also, once Bane and Catwoman were introduced, it was like there are costume villains in this universe aside from the Joker.
Yeah.
And also, rewatching Rises, I had to put the closed captioning on. Like, I didn't have, it was weird. I mean, part of it was just because the speakers at work suck.
Because of Bane?
It was because of Bane for sure. I could not. He wasn't even registering. Like, I couldn't even, when he was speaking, I was like, is he speaking?
It's time to reclaim your city.
And also, Tom Hardy made some weird choices delivery-wise in that movie. Some really weird choices delivery-wise.
You mean the decision to become the love child between Sean Connery and Darth Vader?
Of course, my boy. But the scene where I was like, this is becoming problematic is the scene where he delivers the speech in front of Blackgate Prison. Like, some of the mannerisms and some of the delivery of the line, it's kind of silly.
I feel like he has the same speech impediment as Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he's like,
Bane here.
Bane here. I am going to release the prisoners from Blackgate Prison because I'm Bane. Catwoman's fine. Anne Hathaway just seemed a little bit kind of cold to me, and Catwoman never came off to me as cold in the comics. She always had a really kind of a passion behind her, and she lacks that in the movie. But she's better than.
They were going for that, and it's such a trope right now, especially with Scarlet Widow. Or wait, no.
Scarlet Widow. Who the fuck is that?
Just fuck that the fuck out, especially with
Black Widow and Scarlet Witch.
No, I just meant to say Black Widow. I don't know why I even said Scarlet. Especially with the way they did her in the Marvel universe. There's a trope right now that's very strong in Hollywood of the emotionally cold, kick-ass femme fatale.
Yeah.
And that's what they were going for with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
And it's very clear.
And it's not bad. It's just not what I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
Because aside from that, her version is basically right out of Long Halloween. As much of the stuff in the Nolanverse is, it's kind of right out of Long Halloween. And Year One. But
You notice her and Bane used the same trick in that movie. When Bane breaks into the stock exchange, and the person tells him to take off his bicycle helmet. He takes it off and then uses it to hit the guy in the head. And then when Anne Hathaway's in the airport or whatever, and she's like, "Can you hold my hat?" And then she punches him through the hat.
Yeah. I remember that.
I was like, that's actually not a bad trick. I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. Can you hold this? That's a classic movie trope. But yeah, Rises is good. Pacing problems galore in that movie. Talking about Begins and Dark Knight like they're like super problematic. No, Rises is the one that had the real problems pacing wise. But Dark Knight, that's part of the reason why I kind of enjoy Begins a little bit more, is that it just feels kind of more tight to me.
You know the saddest part about not being in the Nolan universe anymore?
What?
No more Cillian Murphy cameos.
Yeah, he is technically the longest running Batman film villain, right? Because everybody else died or just never showed up again.
Let's see. Yeah, that's right.
He was in all three.
Joker died. Penguin died. Christopher Walken died. I love how
Catwoman survived, but we never saw her again.
I love how Christopher Walken is just like on the roster of Batman villains thanks to that movie.
That's bad. Or I mean, even saying his character's name, Max Schreck. It's like Max Schreck is a Batman villain. Fuck you. Fucking Nosferatu, motherfucker, is a Batman villain.
Somebody's like, "Hey, can you name me the Batman villains?" Sure, there's Joker and Penguin and Christopher Walken.
How? Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Looks like I'm going to have to push you out of a taller window.
There's a slight... Do you think the scene in Dark Knight when Batman has Maroni up on the top of that building and Maroni's like, from one professional to another, next time you want to get information out of somebody, pick a better spot, fall from this height, wouldn't kill me. And Batman's just like, I'm counting on it. Do you think that's a nod to Batman Returns?
I love Maroni in that universe.
Eric Roberts is a fucking master. He was the perfect pick for Maroni.
My favorite line of the entire fucking franchise is still, "This club's too loud. We can't hear each other talk." What makes you think I want
to hear you talk? Which is a really nice. The more I go to film school, the more you learn about how you make movies. I start to appreciate these little tiny things in movies more. And that's called a match cut. And a match cut can be either a visual kind of similarity between two shots. There's a little bit of that in Batman Forever, that shot with the coin with Two-Face. Mm-hmm. You can use it as a transition between two things, between locations. But you can also do it with audio. And there's one in that scene that I really like where they're on top of police headquarters and they've got the bat signal on. And they're like, he's not coming tonight. He doesn't want to talk to us. And then the guy goes, God help whoever he wants to talk to. And then they cut to, we can't hear each other talk. What makes you think I want to hear you talk? And then Batman shows up. That's a great parallel match cut right there. I really like that. I just noticed it the last time I rewatched it. I was like, that's cool. But Dark Knight's still great. It has the best character. It has the best cast character-wise in the series. Because Begins is so focused on Bruce that the supporting cast kind of just helps him become Batman. I mean, Lucius is very funny, and so is Alfred, and Gordon's great, but it's kind of Gordon's starting point. They're all way more developed than Dark Knight. Everybody gets development, which is awesome.
I mean, Gary Oldman's there, and he's Gary Oldman, and it's always a good thing. But
I mean, Harvey Dent, Aaron Eckhart is great. I mean, do we even have to say anything about Joker? I'm not even going to bother. He's just the fucking... Kind of
wish that Harvey Dent could have been established in the first movie, though.
That would have been nice.
Because he shows up purely pretty much as a plot device.
I disagree.
As soon as you watch the movie, it's like, this movie, it's all about, like, Harvey, you see that this movie is all about Harvey Dent and he's running for district attorney, and as soon as you see it, you're like, he exists in this movie so that by the end he can become Two-Face.
I disagree with that. He's more there for a thematic reason in his aftermath of Batman Begins, because the whole point of Batman Begins is the idea of escalation. Of Batman is the one who was like, we're done, we're putting our foot down, we're done with the crime. And his actions, and they say in Dark Knight, the only reason Harvey ever ran for district attorney was because of Batman. So I don't agree that he's just there to become two. I mean, from a story, from like a writing perspective, that's why they put him in the movie, because it's like, oh, we're gonna do Two-Face. But the reason why he shows up in the story, I think, is because of the aftermath that begins. But I do agree. I think they should have had him just be a lawyer in Begins, because...
Well, one of the things I liked in TAS was him. He made those like appearances before he ever became Two-Face, and
yeah, he was Bruce Wayne's friend.
Him and Bruce were pals, and I always liked that idea.
They do it in year one, too, which is why I think they should have done it in Begins, because it was in year one. Now, the only problem that would have caused is that they were going to do it just like in year one. Batman was working with Harvey Dent behind Jim Gordon's back in year one. So they would have had to handle that a little bit differently in Begins to have Dark Knight be the same movie. But, I mean, they could have just had him cameo in Begins and it would have been fine, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, even 89 established him as a person in the first movie.
Yeah.
And they did,
he was Billy D. Williams.
And they completely recast him by the time they got to turning him into Two-Face.
That acid did a number on him.
Jesus, I mean, it also made Bruce Wayne significantly shorter and give him a completely different facial structure. But to change the race mid-franchise,
basically what we've learned.
Whoa, and also make him older, right? Because isn't Tommy Lee Jones older than Billy D. Williams? I mean, not by much, but
I don't know. But the age is probably
at least 5 years.
The age is probably matched given the space of time in between the two movies.
That's true.
I don't think Billy D. Williams is that much younger than Two-Face.
Not too much. I mean, Two-Face is, 73 years old, so I guess not anymore.
What was I think? Shit. Basically, what I guess happened in that universe is that Harvey Dent saw whatever it was Winston saw in Ghostbusters. Shit.
This shit'll turn you white.
That he must have seen that.
He saw the Penguin in Batman Returns and was like, "This shit'll turn you white."
I've seen shit that'll turn you white.
I fucking love that, especially since he's talking to the white mayor. That was fucking great. But the whole reason we went on this tangent, to get back to why I even brought up Batman Begins, is because Batman Begins is a really strong origin story that is designed around the fact that it's an origin story. In the case of Godzilla, I felt that we lost out on seeing some of the more interesting stuff because of how much stuff the movie was doing to establish monsters in that universe to the general public, and also build up the concept of Godzilla. You know what I mean? I think they could have done that a little bit more, so we could see some of like the reaction and not just wait for it all to be done in the sequel. Because the other thing is that Gareth Edwards also said, I want this movie to feel like it doesn't need a sequel. And I had the complete opposite reaction when I saw Godzilla. I was like, we desperately need a sequel. So I think that's slightly problematic, but I do hope that the sequel picks up on that.
Yeah. And
God help them tackling 4 monsters in one movie, because they struggled with that in the last one. So good luck, Max Borenstein. I have faith, but good luck, buddy.
Yeah, are we sure that they're putting all 3 of those monsters in the next movie?
They gotta be, because otherwise they would have just said what they were going to do in 2 and then wait to announce 3. I guess we'll have to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming they're going to throw them all in 2. I also think, do you think that there's a chance, and this is complete speculation, and might come off as kind of like, ooh, there are things I don't like about 2014, so I'm going to say this. I still love 2014. You can go watch my 3-hour review of it.
I did.
He did. He sat through the whole fucking thing. Something I haven't even done, kids. And I made the goddamn thing.
I have regrets about my life.
Oh, shit, I lost what I was going to say again. But do you think that there's a chance that the reason why they're throwing 3 classic Toho monsters into, supposedly, is to get some street cred with Godzilla fans who are pissed off at the lack of screen time Godzilla got in the first movie?
I think so. I think they want all of the fan pussy, and so they are just throwing out as many little like things to entice can, because they made us fall in love with the idea of the last movie, and then collectively the Godzilla fandom went into that movie and collectively said yeah, and now they have to sort of win us back into the theater, or not back.
By an average vote, because that movie was like super. That movie was to Godzilla fans as Man of Steel was to Superman fans.
Oh, yeah.
Completely split down the middle.
Super polarizing. Super duper polarizing.
I mean, if you just look at the comments of like a bunch of my videos, it's like, this is the worst movie ever. This is the best movie ever. It's like, there's no way to gauge like a popular feeling about that movie except for averagely being polarizing. It did some things well, some things not so well, which is ultimately the consensus we all came down to it on. But I do think there's a chance that they're trying to kind of go, we hear you, so let's kind of, let's make you fall in love with us again by giving us stuff you want. So,
if they really
you want King Ghidorah, you're going to get King Ghidorah.
They really wanted me in the theater, they would have put in Batra and Titanosaurus.
That would have been the way to attract Dillion there. They didn't think of Dillion, though. They wanted my money, so they're like, we're going to remake Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and I was like, I'm fucking sold.
No, if they really wanted your money, they would have put in King Kong and Biollante.
Yeah, those are my two. There was a rumor that they were going to do Biollante in 2014. Like, years ago. I didn't believe it, but I was like, I would be cool with that.
You can't do Biollante in the first movie.
I don't need Biollante in this franchise. I don't think it really works, given what their plan is to kind of do the whole Monster Island thing and also have, like, that idea of, well, humanity is so dazzled by the power of Godzilla, they want their own Godzilla. That's prime material for Mechagodzilla. So I think they should do Mechagodzilla in the third movie.
My main question is how exactly they're going to go about doing Ghidorah, because...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time question.
Because... I doubt that they're going to go alien.
But the thing is, all of the source material they have with Ghidorah, who has had many different origins, I don't see them using any of those in this movie.
No, he's not going to be a mystical dragon like in GMK. He's not going to be a creature from the future like in...
Who gets sent back in time. And
like
all of Ghidorah's origins are too far-fetched for this continuity.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they just do it the same way they did Godzilla and say, hey, a three-headed golden dragon...
No, that's not going to work.
Naturally evolved in our ecosystem, I'm going to be like, that's a stretch.
No, I don't think they should. Aside from the whole stretching credibility, at the end of the day, as long as it's faithful to the original, I don't give a shit. I'm still not like 100% cool with Godzilla's origin, but he's Godzilla, so I really don't care. I mean, I slightly care, but I don't care as much because he's still Godzilla to me. With Ghidorah, I feel the same way of like, if they do that, I'll be able to bear it because as long as he looks and acts like Ghidorah, cool. But more than that, let's just get some variety in these monsters. If they're all going to have the same origins as the Mutos and Godzilla and just come from that period and all relate to Godzilla in different ways in that food web, which could be fine for Rodan, but I don't want that with Mothra or Ghidorah.
I think other people have been saying, let's connect Mothra to the Mutos, and I'm like, no.
No, that's a stupid idea.
Don't do that.
That would be like connecting Mothra to the Meganulas from Rodan. It's a fucking stupid idea. And that would be more cool because they look similar.
Mothra, Queen of the Mutos. It's a terrible.
Terrible idea.
Ugh.
I mean, the Mutos are completely different types of creatures from Mothra too. So.
They're not even insects. They're insect-like.
They're just as much kind of reptiles as they are insects, I think.
Yeah.
But in terms of Ghidorah, I mean, I've talked about this a bunch, so I bet a bunch of people were listening to this going, oh, here we go again. They're talking about Legendary Pictures Godzilla.
What else?
Fuck you. No.
Do. Well, we don't know anything about the fucking Toho movie that's coming out next fucking year.
So this is all we have to go on in terms of Godzilla news, and we can only talk about Godzilla. So, fuck you. We've spent this whole video talking about all we ever talk about: Batman and Godzilla.
I now live in an age where the two most influential and dead Japanese franchises from my youth, Godzilla and Dragon Ball Z, are back, and I know distressingly little about either of them.
The trailer for Revival of F, is that what the DBZ movie's called?
Resurrection F, or in
Resurrection F,
or in Japanese, Fukatsu no F, which I kind of like saying.
Fukatsu no F. That sounds like fuck you. You got no F. Fuck you. You have no F.
You ain't got no F.
You ain't got no F.
You ain't got no pancake mix.
You ain't got no J. But I've posed the concept of two things. One, just make him an alien and don't get into the specifics. Because, like, just be like, there's life out there, this is some way related to that, deal with it. You know, we don't have to go into the nitty-gritty of everything. Let's let there be some mystery, and then there's always room to expand later.
Give me, like, a badass shot of Ghidorah approaching Earth and, like, its shadow on the moon.
No, I mean, I would say do it like the original and have him come in a meteorite or something. My other thing was, if you're going to do that, what could also be cool is to have, like, maybe there's some kind of alien DNA on the rock, and then some guy, or, like, maybe some big military corporation or something, looks at, like, really wants to find a way to kind of deal with the Godzilla threat, and then is like, oh, monster DNA. Cool, I can make my own monster, and then makes Ghidorah. Because I think in a realistic world, in the realistic world of 2014, making Ghidorah biologically engineered is kind of one of the most realistic ways to do it in terms of what he looks like.
Yeah, that
with the 3 heads, the 2 tails, the big wings.
That just does not evolve in nature, especially, particularly not on our planet.
I mean, to be fair, Godzilla wouldn't really either. I mean, they tried their best in 2014 to make him look like something that would naturally evolve, but, you know.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's going to be interesting to see what they do with Ghidorah's design.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they could possibly do with his design to try and approach it the same way they did Godzilla. Like, let's try and make nature's realistic Ghidorah. Well, they're
1 head, arms,
and then the fans would go, "This is the Zilla of Ghidorah."
Ghidorah is a little bit more locked in, though. Unless they get, to me, the only way you could possibly make Ghidorah unrecognizable is if you give him arms. Otherwise, the vague shape is still going to be the same. Because that was the ultimate problem with Zilla, was the silhouette looked nothing like Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, even on the occasions that they've drastically changed Ghidorah, it's been a separate character. Like, there's Des Ghidorah, and then there's
Ghidorah,
and there's
and
Kaiser,
Grand King Ghidorah.
And Kaiser Ghidorah. Well, Grand King Ghidorah doesn't look that much different in terms of, like, general silhouette.
Yeah, and even Des Ghidorah is just a completely different thing altogether.
It just happens to be four-legged. And then Kaiser Ghidorah kind of has the same thing going on. And oddly enough, Rebirth of Mothra 1, much older movie, but pulled off the four-legged Ghidorah thing better than Final Wars did. It just looked better, in my opinion.
It did. Well, the problem with Final Wars was their monsters were doing so many fucking kung fu moves because of who was directing it, that once you got to this monster that could barely move, it was like, we'll have him levitate Godzilla, because Ghidorah can do that now.
Kaiser Ghidorah.
Kaiser Ghidorah can do. Well, technically on the back of the box he's labeled as Monster X2, but we all refer to him as Kaiser Ghidorah.
Yes.
I don't know if that was an American thing, or if that was just like if it was like Orgo, where the monster was named later by the fans, or by Toho, and the fans then adopted the name. Who knows? Orga's a monster I'd like to see come back in some way. Do something with him. He popped up in the Rulers of Earth, and that was cool.
He did.
So I don't know. Let's put him in the new Toho movie or something. I'll give him something to do. He's lonely. He's sitting in his office waiting for calls.
I don't want him to be in the next Toho movie.
It depends on what they do, because we don't know how they're approaching it. If they're going to reintroduce Godzilla, if they're going to have an established Godzilla world, which is what I want.
Because then the problem arises that you're going to put the same monster in yet another Godzilla returning to the silver screen movie.
Oh, that's true. Oh wait, you mean he was that already in 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that point. I think they ought to do. I'm with you. I think they ought to do someone who hasn't been in a movie in a long time, like Titanosaurus or something. I think that's what they ought to do. Or even, I don't know, let's give Space Godzilla another shot. I like Space Godzilla. I don't like the movie, but I like the character.
I love the concept of Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla kicked major ass and saved the Earth.
And I'm not even opposed to letting him keep his name, even though it's fucking dumb. Although,
Space Godzilla.
I mean, it's not. I see why they did it. Like, okay, we have Mecha Godzilla, so we have Space Godzilla.
He's a Godzilla from space. Yeah.
Space Gojira. So, you know, I don't care about that, but, you know, like, I just want to see, like, I don't want to see Ghidorah, I don't want to see Anguirus, I don't want to see Rodan. I don't even want to see, like, I don't want to see Mechagodzilla. I want to see, because they see, the difference between the Toho movie and the American movies is that with the American movies, we're seeing a little bit more of, like, an adaptation and a kind of translation of those characters. So it's there's a certain amount of fun in seeing them be readapted for a new audience.
Right, and done so respectfully.
Right, exactly. That's kind of part of the fun of this new franchise, is that we get to see these characters we're familiar with retranslated and rebooted in a new light. So that's why I'm totally cool with and endorse and heavily beg them to keep doing Toho monsters because for that very reason. Although I'm not opposed to the idea of original monsters. I like the Mutos, but
I wouldn't mind Toho cranking out some more original monsters either, because
oh yeah, that too. That's always a possibility.
And you know what? But you know what? I know fans are going to want to see an established monster in the next movie because of what we got in 2014.
Because we got original monsters in 2014.
Well,
I think what fans want is they want to see a Godzilla world that's a little bit more familiar with what we know already. Like I think Godzilla fans want to see.
They need their comfort movie.
I think so. I think that's what the Toho movie will be for. And, I mean, maybe they'll do something a little bit more risque. I doubt it.
I think the way to do it, the way to please everybody, is have an original monster paired off with a pre-existing monster.
That's the other thing too. It doesn't just have to be a versus movie. It can be like. I also am not opposed to like have there be established Toho monsters in the universe, but not be focused on. Like you can have Mothra flying around in Rodan, but just don't have them show up for either very long or just have them kind of be mentioned.
Like that's technically what they do in Godzilla vs. Megalon. You have a monster that people already knew from the previous movie, and then they also introduce the new monster for the movie. I think a lot of fans tend to forget that all Toho monsters were new at one point.
Very true.
But I would.
And of course, you don't want to keep regurgitating the same characters over and over again. But the thing is, like,
but that's what I want. I want to see more original kaiju from the Toho universe as well, because Toho didn't do a lot of original kaiju in the Millennium series. They did Orga, and they did Megaguirus, and then there was Monster X / Kaiser in Final Wars.
And Monster X was fucking cool, too.
Monster X was fucking cool. He was my favorite of the three that they created for Millennium.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, of course, Kaiser Ghidorah is kind of a new thing, too, so I guess we can kind of rope him in there, too. But
it's the same monster.
Yeah, and I've also never been insane about the Kaiser Ghidorah design. It's just too crazy to me.
I don't count them as two separate kaiju because it's the same, or two separate entities because it's the same fucking kaiju. That would be like if you said, that would be like if you were counting Frieza and Frieza's transformation as two separate characters.
No, that's true, but I'm mainly saying that because they're two different names, two different designs, and also Toho labels them differently. They have different copyrights, which is fucking weird.
Toho has strange practices.
Toho's copyrights, man, holy god.
I understand that it's Japan.
We've heard stories, and it's like, holy shit.
I understand that things in Japan probably don't work the same way that they do in America.
I mean, we both heard stories about like how they handle their human characters. I can't even imagine discussions about like, can we do Dr. Serizawa in 2014? Is that legal?
Can we do this? And they're like, no. And you're like, oh.
Do you think maybe the only way they got away with it was giving him a different first name?
I don't know.
Or if they had you know what though? No, that's not true. Because they had the rights to the original Gojira, because in one of the documentaries they show footage from the original Gojira and nothing else. Yeah.
Now, when we interviewed Maori, when they were doing the comics, they weren't allowed to use pre-existing characters in ROE, were they?
No, but I think he mentioned in that interview that a lot of that was because of the likenesses of the actors being more of the problem.
But yet they were able to use Mickey Sagusa in the Titanosaurus issue of Legends.
What was that? I'm sorry, my mom came in and interrupted.
Yet they were able to use Mickey Sagusa in the Titanosaurus issue of Legends, which I don't.
Yeah, I don't know how they got away with that.
I guess they had to suck Toho's dick to get that to happen.
Maybe, who knows? We don't know what goes behind the scenes.
I don't know. I didn't realize that Toho.
Did she look like the actress?
I mean,
because maybe that's how they got away with it, was they drew her completely differently.
In that they're both Asian women, yes.
Okay, so to be totally racist about it,
Well, I mean,
I get what you mean. I'm just busting your balls.
I'm not the best authority to tell you how much similar she looks to the one from the movies. I'll put it that way. That would be a question for...
She also looked different from movie to movie. Not like she was played by different actors, but like she just changed her look.
That would be a question for David. Hey, David, how close is this to the real Mickey Segusa? And he'd be like, no, this is not... This is not fat-worthy.
I might be meeting up with him in person soon, so I'll be sure to ask him.
Yeah, be sure to ask him, hey, how close is... Turns out he hasn't read the comic. Damn it, David!
Fucking David, you're always failing me.
You haven't read Legends yet either, have you?
No.
You should read that.
I should buy that and read it.
You don't even have to buy it. Andres has it.
Oh, I can borrow it from him when I go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So
fucking Godzilla.
As always. But yeah, I just think, like when I say comfort movie, I don't mean do everything we've seen before, nothing new. No. But, like, give us a more familiar Godzilla universe, kind of like Rulers of Earth. Like, that's a very familiar kind of Godzilla universe. It's got a lot of different stuff because of the continuity.
And I don't want another monster based off Godzilla's DNA right now. Please, for the love of God, we had Biollante, and then we had Space Godzilla, and then fucking they did it again in Godzilla 2000 because the fucking Norga used his DNA to adapt to our atmosphere, and then they did it in Megaguirus, and then they did it again in fucking Kaiju to an extent.
Yeah, yep. We had a whole lot of movies in the past 30 years of Godzilla's fighting a monster that's kind of like him and based on him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great idea. I love the whole, Godzilla's DNA having this, like, effect on the world the way that, like, nuclear arms races did and all this.
That's what I love about Biollante.
All that shit. But we've had it now.
Yeah, it's been done. It's been done well.
I've had my cake. I've eaten it.
It can be done in the background, certainly. I would like it to be done in the background, but let's not make a monster based on it. Let's do something different.
Not to say that I never want to see a monster based off of Godzilla's DNA again. No?
Yeah, I mean, we just mentioned, like, oh, it'd be cool to see Space Godzilla again, but,
I just don't want one yet. Yeah. And I don't want to make every fucking movie in this franchise that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even Mechagodzilla 2, it wasn't a monster based off his DNA, but it's still a monster based on Godzilla.
It's based on him, yeah. I mean, fucking Heisei was crazed with that. I mean, even King Ghidorah, to a certain extent, was based in the origins of Godzilla, which I was cool with.
And then to think that they actually canceled Ghost Godzilla because they said, you know what, this is a getting series. We have too many Godzilla monsters in a row.
And even Destroya, again. Destroya would be nice to see again, too. I mean, we saw him in Rulers of Earth, but, it'd be nice to see him again. And that doesn't even mean they necessarily have to make it canonical with 54. They can tweak his origin.
Yeah, they can.
As they must have had to have done in Rulers of Earth, because 54, if this is in continuity with Kingdom of Monsters, could not have happened the way we saw it.
They could make... I don't know, how could they fucking destroy his origin?
Just make him a fucking creepy crawly that's at the bottom of the ocean.
A creepy crawly from the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, totally. And he, like, fucking... Well, in Rulers of Earth, it's implied that...
A creepy crawly.
In Rulers of Earth, it's implied that he's some kind of alien germ that absorbs whatever's around it and becomes that creature, so... It fucked around with some crustaceans and became a big crustacean.
It landed on a crab that happened to be getting fucked up the ass by Satan, and voila!
I want to see Ebirah in the background of the new movie. Doesn't have to be in the movie. Just like I want Ebirah to exist in the background.
I demand they do that thing where like they open the movie with a fight that's not related to the rest of the fight. Like, what if they open the movie with Godzilla in the middle of a fight with Ebirah?
Okay. I'm going to say I don't want the Toho movie to do that for this reason. Because I want 2014 to do it. I mean, I want Godzilla 2 to do it because they can easily get away with Ebirah in their continuity. And I want I want Godzilla 2 to open with a fight. So
if you want to play around with Ebirah's design, make him look less
go for
less
it.
giant.
As long as it's a big fucking shrimp. That's all you need for Ebirah is a big fucking shrimp.
I mean, look at that fucking crab monster from Pacific Rim. It could look a little bit more like that. That was fucking badass.
That design was even more crazy than fucking... I mean, to be fair with Pacific Rim's a more over-the-top universe than Godzilla. And Pacific Rim's a kind of a different beast than Godzilla, though, because it's a little bit more over-the-top.
Yeah.
But even still, we can't have big lobsters? It's like, what are we going to do? We have Godzilla fight a big fucking other Godzilla with scars in his face? Like,
give me a lobster, damn it. Nah.
I want Ebirah to... Oh, that's why I don't want Toho to do it, because I want Legendary to do it because they can. Unless they don't have the rights to Ebirah. So in that case, Toho, go for it. But I think, like, they can get away with Ebirah, so use Ebirah. Like, have Godzilla in the new Toho movie fight, like, I don't know. Again, depending on how realistic they decide to make their universe. I'm hoping for something a little bit more stylized.
While we're talking about things that they could recycle from Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, how about a villain plot with that red bamboo, huh?
Yes. Who would do that in this modern age?
Make that the fucking the fucking Cobra of the Godzilla universe.
The red bamboo. Fucking those assassins from Ghidorah. I don't know. Just give me someone.
It turns into a ripoff of G.I. Joe, where G-Force is trying to stop fucking Red Bamboo.
And the monsters are just in the background. I'd be cool with that. I would like.
They have a leader. They have a leader named Bamboo Commander.
I kind of like that. Well, no, it's fucking that guy with the fucking eye patch.
Fucking that guy.
It's Dr. Serizawa, but evil.
They make that a plot point. It's Ken Watanabe's twin.
Oh.
We call it Ebirah.
We call him Ebirah.
Ebirah.
What do you say? We call him Ebirah. Ken's brother. I'm just here as I just came to visit the set. But I had a slight similar issue with Ken on the set of Godzilla 2014. Just slow down.
You are aware that I am.
Who is this strange British man, and what is he doing on my set?
You are aware that I am the same actor playing my twin brother.
Oh, carry on then. Who is that strange British man? I don't know. That was a weird cross between British and Japanese I just did.
I don't know. Kind of like a California surfer dude trying to do a British accent.
Whoa, man! I don't know what that was, brah.
Radical.
He's the director. Hey, man, can you, say Godzilla, man?
It would be radical. You would say, man. We call him Godzilla, man.
We call him Godzilla, man. Yeah, man, that's right. Laid back and chill, bruh. Alright, man, I'm gonna go smoke a joint. You guys carry on without me.
We call him Big Farrah.
Big Farrah. But, boats and hoes.
Boats, yeah.
Boats and hoes. Prehistoric boats.
See, Ebirah could have evolved.
Let's bring that into the 2014. Let's bring that into the sequel. Godzilla fighting big prehistoric sailboats.
See, Ebirah could have evolved as a natural predator.
And also, to carry on with the sea monster stuff, it could be the Yalin.
Yeah, see, Ebirah could have evolved as a natural predator of the sailboat.
The species could be called the Yalins. I'm liking this more and more.
Yeah, this is easily the best worst idea we've ever had.
And this could all be exposition in a plane that Ford's getting when they're flying in to take out the monsters and Godzilla's fighting Ebirah. And one of the female soldiers is like, "Oh, you go on a date with Elle lately?" He's like, "No." Too scared? No, too busy. He jumps out. Did he have a parachute? No, he didn't. Godzilla, the summer soldier. Oh, somebody out there got that reference.
This sounds like a ripoff.
Ebirah the Leaper. There's a villain we never thought we'd see in a modern-day Marvel movie. Batroc the Leaper.
Oh, boy.
So we can see Ebirah in the new Godzilla movies. I don't see why not.
He's a giant fucking lobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or shrimp or crawfish or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Let's just get outraged and shit. Let's go burn down a pizzeria in Brooklyn out of racial prejudice.
I don't have any racial prejudices against pizzerias.
I do. Oh no. I hope somebody out there got that reference too. Fight the power.
Stay black.
Yeah. We got to start to stay. So Dylan, speaking of upcoming films that we're excited about, we kind of mentioned this a little bit. we're kind of alluding to it, I think, in our conversation. Fucking Spectre, man. We finally saw an official image.
When were we ever alluding to Spectre?
Because it was kind of... we were talking about Red Bamboo kind of being like the Cobra.
Yeah, that's a G.I. Joe reference.
I know, but I was thinking of Spectre, and I thought you might be too. So it popped in my head.
I was not. See, I wasn't alluding to Spectre at all. So when you
son of a bitch.
So when you said, speaking of another movie that you were kind of alluding to earlier, I thought you were about to talk about DBZ again. We were on two completely different wavelengths.
We'll talk about that too. But you saw the Spectre image, right?
Yeah.
Very classic Bond look for Daniel Craig, and I'm all for it.
I mean, it's just an image.
I know, but just that we haven't seen him wear anything like that, though. It's like that very kind of classic spy gear. He's got the gun holster outside of it, that black kind of catsuit look.
Yeah.
He almost looked like Roger Moore from Live and Let Die, and I thought that was really cool. So I'm really excited for this movie.
I'm down.
I'm really excited. There's another like rebooted fucking thing they're gonna do in a franchise that's trying to be more realistic. So I can't wait how they do Spectre.
Yeah. Are they gonna have the elaborate death traps?
I want a pit of piranhas. I want fucking
I want sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads.
I don't think they had that in the James Bond series, Dylan.
That was.
And then I also want that fucking.
A different reference.
There was a shark with a laser beam on its head? Where was this from? And where can I buy this thing?
That was a reference to Austin Powers.
Oh, I figured it was. Okay.
Dr. Evil wanted sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads. And then number 2 was like, Dr. Evil, while you were asleep, the sharks were put on the endangered species list. We tried to get some, but there was a lot of red tape. And he's like, I asked for one simple thing, and that is to have frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads. And he's like, what do we have? And he's like, sea bass.
Sea bass! Well,
really? Mutated sea bass. Oh, well, that's a start. Are they ill-tempered? Most definitely.
I also want that fucking reflective glass from Dr. No, which shows the fish as being giants.
Yes.
You turn guppies into whales.
Yes.
I want to see Dr. No with, like, Iron Man hands, like fucking prosthetic arms that are like fucking Iron Man armor and shit.
I want Dr. No to be a character, played by Ben Kingsley.
Yes! You'll never see me coming.
You don't look Japanese.
I am not. I'm half. I'm a half-a. Half a what? Half and half.
He's racially miscast in a lot of films.
Oh, Jimmy Gaff.
Jimmy Gaff.
Jimmy Gaff.
Is that his nickname now?
That's his nickname whenever we refer to him.
If ever meet him in person, be like, yo, Jimmy Gaff.
Yo, Jimmy Gaff, what's up, bro?
He'd be like, what?
Hi. You want a hot pocket? Oh. He's just dealing with like fucking drugs in the street. He like lifts out his trench coat. He's just got hot pockets.
Have you tried the hot pocket? Hot pocket? It's a hot pocket filled with a hot pocket. It tastes just like a hot pocket.
I've never eaten a hot pocket because I'm not insane.
You've never eaten?
Or have a death wish.
You've never eaten a hot pocket?
No, I don't want to die at 35.
It's satisfying for 10 seconds, and then you regret your life, and then later on you have diarrhea. They have some breakfast ones though that are really good, and
oh, that sounds horrible.
No, they have these breakfast ones, and it's like egg and like applewood bacon, and it's actually really good, and it has less diarrhea.
Less, but not completely gone.
You're not guaranteed to get diarrhea that way.
That's like the worst when you eat something that's heavy and then you wear really tight pants and your stomach feels like it's like, let me out. I need to work out some problems in the restroom. Let me out. Unsheathe me. And you're like, no, you gotta stay in there. We're hanging out with our friends right now.
You're like, I shouldn't have had that burrito.
I went to Dairy Queen earlier. Big fan.
And then you wind up in the bathroom moaning, and you're like, that diarrhea dough.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot that you're recently having a love affair with Dairy Queen.
I'm having a salacious, unabashed sex affair with Dairy Queen.
I can't believe that you've been so Dairy Queen deprived in your life.
Because they've only had them upstate and in Jersey. Like, I don't know why, but New York is like, no, we ain't gotten into that Jersey. We ain't gotten into that Jersey. We ain't gotten into that Dairy Queen.
It's so strange to me. I before you told me that, I never would have conceived. Because, I have like 4 Dairy Queen.
Well, now there's 3 on Long Island, and I'm like, this is the greatest day of my life. And I told my boss about it, and she's like, you work at an ice cream place, and that it's a competing ice cream place. And I was like, am I supposed to care? Because I don't. Because it's fucking different and good.
Here's the thing, boss. Their ice cream is better.
They're so different. I can't even, like...
I had your Carvel while I was up there, and I was like, you know what? This is all right. But I could really feel some Dairy Queen right now.
Dairy Queen is like... Dairy Queen has something in it that, like, other ice cream... It has, like, this richness to it. You know what I mean?
I'm convinced it's crack.
There's drugs in their ice cream, I think. Their food's not bad either, is the thing.
No, they have pretty good burgers and shit.
Their chicken's good, their fries are good. That's the test of, like, a decent fast food place, if their chicken fingers are good. And their chicken fingers are good.
And they always do that thing when you order a Blizzard. They bring it to you, and then they turn it upside down to demonstrate how thick it is, and it won't fall out of the cup.
I have never had any of them do that to me. What fucking masochistic Dairy Queen did you go to?
No, they do that around here. It's like to demonstrate how, like, their ice cream, how, like, thick it is. When they bring it to the table, they will turn it upside down, and this is specifically with the Blizzards. They don't do it with the other stuff there, because I guess it doesn't work. But, like, they turn it upside down, and it doesn't, like, none of it falls out of the cup. And you're like, give me that.
Well, that's part of the difference between Carvel and Dairy Queen. The Carvel is more like, yeah, we have creamier ice cream, and that's because we use a different system. When we went to Carvel up here, the ice cream was swirly, the soft serve anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the nozzle was like thinner. So when you go to Dairy Queen, they're like, just dump it in as is, which is actually like the ice cream's thicker, and you get more of the flavor. That's why a lot of people get hard ice cream from Carvel, because that you don't have that, like, it's all in there, and it's all kind of, the flavor sits, because it's concentrated. I actually like the soft serve because it's just better, tastes better to me, but with Dairy Queen, you get the best of both. You got the richness of the flavor, and also it's soft serve, and holy shit, that chocolate extreme, dude. What's your Dairy Queen option of choice?
I usually either go with the chocolate extreme, or with the mint Oreo. Because my 2 favorite things in the world are chocolate and mint. So it's usually between those 2.
I'm not a big mint guy myself. I mean, because when I work and I make the ice cream, I have to taste it to make sure it's not like poison.
So when the Girl Scouts are doing their cookie shit, and they're like, "Do you want a mint cookie that's smothered in chocolate?" And I'm like, "Fuck yes, I do."
Give me that shit right now, young lady. And she's like, "Man, you're scaring me." And you're like, "I don't care. Give me the cookie."
You got the money? No.
No, man, you're just going to give it to me, otherwise I'm going to fucking kill you.
Punches Girl Scout in the face, runs away with cookies.
Local man, Dylan McCandless. That's the only way they can distinguish you, is local man.
Punches Girl Scout in the face.
Local man and freelance podcaster Dylan McCandless beat the shit out of a Girl Scout earlier. Because he didn't have money to pay for Girl Scout cookies. What an asshole.
Which is really sad because I get them for free anyway.
How? Do you steal them?
Yes, I punch little Girl Scouts in the face. No, what happens is my cousin is a troop leader because her girls are in Girl Scouts. And so what always winds up happening is my mom and grandma will buy a whole shit ton of cookies from my little cousins, and then they're just around the house and I eat them.
Oh, I see. So you're a horrible human being then.
Yeah.
The chocolate extreme, though. Holy shit.
It's a good thing they do that, because if they didn't, I would have to resort to punching Girl Scouts in the face, and we...
Right,
of
course. So no, not at all. That's too violent.
And then there's that awkward thing where you go to Walmart, right, and you've already got Girl Scout cookies at home. You don't want to buy their shit, and they're there at the doors, and they're like, "You want to buy some Girl Scout cookies?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, leave me alone."
You just turn to them and you just give them the look of death, just like, "Fuck you."
So what I usually do is go through the garden center.
Yeah, I always go through the garden center too. Not only avoid shit like that, just because I always park there because it's less like concentrated of just people I don't want to look at in the face because they depress me.
The other bad one is like the Boy Scouts. I don't know if they do this up there, but around here they sell this shitty popcorn, and it's overpriced and shitty.
You told me about this. We don't have that up here. The Boy Scouts don't sell anything. Oh no, they sell candy. They sell boxes of candy like Hershey's, Reese's, Crunches, and all that shit.
That is a lot better than shitty ass.
Oh, it's actually pretty awesome. You just get an assortment of, like, good candy. It's pretty fucking great.
That's a much better fundraiser than shitty popcorn that's overpriced and is shitty. Ugh.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, I've got America's Choice and the other kind down there, right, available to my wanting. So fuck you.
Kid, have you ever had this popcorn right here? I pull out the name brand. It is both.
Fucking.
It is.
What are the name brands of popcorn? Fucking Redenbacher, I don't like.
Do you have Act 2 around there?
Act 2?
Yeah, I think that's what it's fucking called.
No. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I like it.
That's kind of like the quintessential movie popcorn.
Yeah, it's all buttery and shit. Oh, we have a grocery store that I don't think you have called Kroger.
Never heard of it.
And they have their own brand of popcorn that is actually super good and way cheaper than all the other stuff, but it's my favorite.
America's Choice popcorn is what my parents buy, and it's pretty good.
Anyway, it's like I don't want your popcorn. They'd be like, with them I don't even bother going through the garden center. It's like, you want to buy some popcorn? No.
So when you just fly through the ceiling, how the fuck do you get out?
I just fucking walk through the door, and when they ask me if I want popcorn, I just say no.
Because you're not afraid of crushing the hopes and dreams of little boys, but little girls, you're too good for that.
I look forward to crushing the hopes and dreams of little boys. No, you know what the problem is?
That is fucking creepy.
You know what the problem is? Is that when they ask me, do I want Girl Scout cookies? The true answer is, fuck yeah, I want some Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. So when you're like, no, you're more like, I don't want to buy more than I need.
So that's why you go through the garden center. With the Boy Scouts, it's a completely different situation, because it's like, no, I do not want your shitty-ass popcorn that tastes like shit.
What does it taste like?
Shit.
How do you know what shit tastes like?
It's just bland and unflavorful.
Oh, that's the worst. It's like low-fat popcorn. There's nothing worse than low-fat popcorn.
I think the Boy Scout popcorn might be low-fat. I think it's all.
It's like eating paper. Like, that's what it tastes like.
It's like all natural, like made with canola oil and shit. And I'm like, no, if I'm gonna eat popcorn, I have to get diabetes. That's just the way.
Like popcorn is basically like pop diabetes. That's what it is.
It's just diabetes in a bucket. We here in America like to eat diabetes in many different forms.
Right.
Bucket. Cone.
Box form is popular.
Cake. Pie shell.
Liquid diabetes is very popular lately.
Oh,
It's easier to consume.
Liquid diabetes, of course.
Whenever I get a lot of ice cream for free, and I just put it in my freezer. So whenever it's like I'm stocked up and I just don't want to eat it because I don't want to like microwave it and kind of get that weird aftertaste of whatever was in the microwave before I put the ice cream in, what I'll do is I'll just dump everything I have left into, because usually I'll pick at it throughout the week. So I'll like dump everything I have left, which can sometimes be different kinds of ice cream. Like I'll have Carvel, but then I'll also have Haagen-Dazs. I'll just dump it into like a fucking blender, just blend that shit and just make like this awesome milkshake, but it's enormous and I drink all of it and I have no shame. And whenever I'm done drinking / eating it because it's so thick, I'm like, I now have diabetes. I now am going to die because that was a lot of crap that I just put in my system.
Sometimes I don't even go through the problem of like getting a bowl and shit. Sometimes I'm like, there's a gallon of ice cream in the freezer. I'll grab a spoon.
I don't buy gallons. I buy pints.
I don't fucking know if a gallon was an accurate representation of how much.
That's a lot of fucking ice cream. Pints and quarts is usually what you buy them in. Like we sell them at Carvel when you want to buy like a fucking this thing to put in your freezer. We sell them in quarts.
I'll sit down sometimes with an entire thing of ice cream and just a fucking spoon.
I'll buy just a pint of Haagen-Dazs and just fucking eat it all in one sitting and then hate myself afterwards. But, you got to do what you got to do.
And then you want to talk about the diarrhea.
Oh, no, that doesn't happen so much with that. Usually that's reserved for, like, fucking bad McDonald's, which is usually, like, half the time. Whenever I get, like,
McDonald's
fucking...
fries get cold, but you continue eating them, even though they have become the worst-tasting thing on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. But you're like, I bought these, and they used to be the best thing ever, so I'm going to finish them.
These aren't even good anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I eat McDonald's too much. I had it last night, and guess what I'm probably having once we get off this call, because I'm fucking starving.
You're going to go to McDonald's?
It's open 24/7, motherfucker. They get you with that shit.
They are open 24/7. I'll tell you what, Recently, though, when we had some bad winter weather around here, they closed, and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. But the one place in that area...
You had like a panic attack. I can't make myself fatter.
But the one place in that portion of town that was still open, despite the shitty weather, was Dairy Queen.
And did you get ice cream?
I did.
You sick bastard. I'm right there with you, though. I love... Like, the weather does not impact my need for ice cream.
What cold weather does is it reminds me, hey, I could be eating ice cream. I want my insides to be as cold as it is outside.
All right, now answer me this. Are you more of an ice cream person or cake person or pastry person or cookie person? What's your preferred dessert?
Let me answer you this way. My favorite kind of cake is ice cream cake.
All right, all right. Now listen. I'm an ice cream person through and through. That's my fucking life.
Which, by the way, next time you have a birthday, now that you have Dairy Queens in your area, get a fucking Blizzard cake from there, because it will make you the happiest motherfucker on the planet.
Oh, my boss would fire me if I fucking did that. That would be going too far.
It's your fucking birthday.
I know, but I would be like, I'm fucking like, that would be like if I like go to get my like when I'm on my lunch break from McDonald's, I go to Burger King. It's just fucking like. I have a soul. I'm not Spike from season 5 of Buffy. I have a soul.
Damn it, Bill. It's the most delicious thing on this fucking planet.
I bet it is, but I'm too loyal, man. I'm too loyal. I gotta do it. I gotta stick with my... I also don't like ice cream cake that much. That's the other thing.
Oh.
That's what I was about to say.
This is like the best fucking ice cream cake ever.
I'm sure it is. Like, if I could get a chocolate extreme ice cream cake, I would fucking come. But, you know, I just... I need cake, like actual cake, pound cake to be in there.
See, I definitely prefer ice cream to cake. This is where I differ from Jim Gaffigan a lot. Is that I like cake, but it's not my favorite.
Cake is right after ice cream for me. Like a good chocolate, like a bundt cake, or if you really want to fucking murder me, get me like a fucking lava chocolate cake with like chocolate lava in them. Oh.
For me, it's...
Oh God, that's the greatest thing ever.
For me, it's cake. Then certain kinds of pie that I like better than cake.
I'm not a big pie person.
Oh, fucking love pie.
I'll eat like a chocolate, like a Boston, no, like a chocolate pudding pie. That's about it.
My grandmama makes some of the best fudge pie you ever put in your mouth, boy.
Okay, fucking guy from House of Cards.
Sorry, when I talk about fudge pie, I go southern.
It is the greatest pie you ever put your mouth on, boy.
Anyway, it's like...
Darn tootin'.
Anyway, so it's cake, certain kinds of pie, then ice cream, right? And then the only thing that outdoes ice cream for me is that I have an addiction to cheesecake.
Cheesecake has never been something I've been particularly enthusiastic about. Mousse cake, on the other hand, mousse cake can kill me. That's like something that can kill me. If I eat it fucking at all, it could murder me. I went to Outback last week for my dad's birthday, and I was supremely disappointed a few years ago when I went to Outback to discover that they no longer have the masterpiece that was the Chocolate Tower.
I was disappointed last time I went to Outback, discovering that they did not have a man playing a didgeridoo, because that is of course what I came for.
No, their food's pretty good.
They do have fucking good food.
Their stats, you can't top their steak.
I haven't been...
I mean, I don't care what you say, that you can't top their steak.
I haven't been there in ages.
I haven't been there a long time before last week when I went for my dad's birthday. Usually we get Italian food when we go out to eat, but he wanted Outback, so we obliged. Because we're good people. And they used to have this thing called the Chocolate Tower. I don't know if you remember it. And it was what it advertises. It's a fucking mound of chocolate cake with chocolate syrup, fucking icing, whipped cream, chocolate sprinkles, and the true genius to the Chocolate Tower was a hint, not an overdose, of raspberry sauce in between the layers of chocolate cake.
Oh.
Which is the greatest thing ever. I don't care what you say, and then when you freeze it and then you eat it, if it gets warm, it's spoiled. That's like the one type of cake where I'm like, I don't want to eat it warm. It's got to be cold for you to truly enjoy it. Gotta be cold.
I come from a confirmed family of chocoholics.
And now one of your closest friends can also tell you, chocoholic too. My name is Bill.
And fucking, we have an all-you-can-eat place called Golden Corral. I don't know if...
We have those up here. I'm not crazy about them. To me, it's like a low-rent Fridays, and Fridays is already pretty low rent.
Oh shit, Team 4-Star uploaded the abridged history of Trunks. Anyway,
Woo!
I, adding that to my watch.
Let's compare it to Legacy of Hope, or whatever the fuck that new one. Light of Hope, is it called?
Adding that to my watch later box. No, what I was about to say is, they have what they call the Chocolate Wonderful.
Alright, I'm gonna go to Golden Crowd just to try that, because that sounds amazing.
It is a waterfall of chocolate. And you dip things in it. And when I walked through the door and I saw it for the first time, it was like a light from heaven descended above it, and like I just heard the like.
You just ran over to it, and just started like, it's like, get that man away from there. He's like, fuck you. Are you the guy that punched those Girl Scouts? Yeah, and I'm proud of it. Oh.
And then they have certain things there that you're supposed to like put on a skewer and dip in the chocolate. Like there's like strawberries and like marshmallows and shit. I was like, no, fuck that shit. I was dipping whatever I wanted in that motherfucker.
Fucking chicken and steak and shit.
Got the fucking ice cream cone, dipped that in there.
Oh, that's it. That's awesome.
Was dipping chocolate in the chocolate. I don't fucking care.
That's another reason I would go to Dairy Queen and not go to my fucking livelihood and go to Carvel. We don't do the fresh bonnet dip because we can't. We just don't have the stuff to keep the bonnet dip warm throughout the day. It's too expensive.
You're not doing a very good job of making Carvel sound better than Dairy Queen. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not trying. I'm just telling you the truth. So don't come into. No, I mean, some Carvels do it because they can afford it. We just don't, because it's also nobody orders it. Like every now and then somebody will ask for it, so it's just not worth it.
They do dip cones at McDonald's.
Do they?
Yeah, or at least they do around here. I don't know.
They don't do that around here.
Different area, but
we have it, but because so here's what we do.
They do these dip cones at McDonald's, and it's the worst thing in the world because they look delicious, they are delicious, but they are so fucking hard to eat because they fall apart.
Yeah, that's the problem with that's why we don't do it ultimately, is because it's so fucking messy. Because what we do is we do the frozen bonnets, where we freeze the ice cream first, then we dip it. Because the reason why that shell gets hard is because it's the warm bonnet dip, because you have to keep it warm, colliding with the cold ice cream, and that freezes it almost instantaneously. And when it works, it's fucking amazing. Like whenever I make it, and my boss listens to this, she'll be like, "You do that?" I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Has your boss ever listened to this show?
She doesn't even know I do this show, but I'm just saying for the possibility
of is that a thing?
Either of my lovely and warm, and they've done a lot for me bosses, but whenever I do the bonnets, what I'll do is I'll just take a big spoon and just dump it in a cup and just put ice cream in it, because it is the great. And also put chocolate sprinkles in the dip, and then put the ice cream in it, and then put more dip on top and more sprinkles. It is the greatest thing ever. It's fucking amazing. If you go to Carvel and ask for that, you will not get it. But I worked there, so I got it. It was fucking great. So that was pretty cool. What were we talking about, though? I was trying to make a point. So when I go to Dairy Queen, I'm like, and I don't want the chocolate extreme, which is a rarity. I'll go, well, this is enough. Or no, whenever I get Mr. Saucy, like during the summer, I always get a dipped cone because I can.
Yeah, there's another Blizzard that they do. Have you ever had French silk pie?
No.
French silk is some of the best chocolate you'll ever put in your mouth. Or at least I'm fond of the way it tastes. Two different kinds of chocolate, have different flavors. And I'm more of like a milky chocolate than a dark chocolate guy myself.
Oh yeah, me too.
And French silk is more on the milky side of things. Anyway,
I should try it then. It sounds good.
It's like whipped chocolate, like in a graham cracker crust, and then it's usually got whipped cream on top.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Okay, I'm gonna get that next time I go to a place that has it.
But the French silk Blizzard is that type of chocolate, is what it is, and then it's got little bits of graham cracker inside of it, and then they also put a swirl of whipped cream on top.
That sounds good.
And it's right up there on my list of things that I think about buying when I go there.
Whenever you go to Dairy Queen with the chocolate extreme, do you get chocolate ice cream or do you get vanilla?
That's even an option?
Yeah.
Not around here.
Why? When you get chocolate ice cream, right?
Yeah, I get chocolate ice cream.
Well, okay. You're right. I agree with you, because I went to Dairy Queen the first time on Long Island and never even thought to ask. I just assumed. Because then when I got it, I was like, oh, that looks kind of like chocolate. And then I ate it, and I'm like, they just put a shitload of chocolate syrup in this and then passed it off as chocolate ice cream. I don't know why, but that's what they did.
Maybe they were out of chocolate? And then you were like, I want a chocolate extreme. They're like, okay.
then fuck them, because if that happened to Carvel, I'd be like, sorry, we don't have it. Do you want me to do something else for you? It's up to you. I would, like, make it up to the customer, and not, like, assume, oh, I'll just lie to them.
Listen, this is Dairy Queen we're talking about. Wonderful place to eat. I don't think I would want to work there.
No.
The people working there always look like their souls have been crushed. It's like Cinnabon in that way.
And listen, I'm going to tell you this. Have you never worked in the customer service industry? It doesn't matter where you work. Your soul is just crushed because it's customer service, and people suck.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, there are places that are clearly worse than others.
I would say I have one of the more tolerable customer service positions.
For instance, Dairy Queen, or like I said a minute ago, Cinnabon. The difference being with Cinnabon, the customers are unhappy too.
You know what the worst place that I've seen is? In Auntie Anne's Pretzels.
Never heard
Those
of it.
people look fucking You've never heard of Auntie Anne's?
No.
Oh, Dylan. When you come up for fucking G-Fest, I gotta get you an Auntie Anne's Pretzels, because it is the greatest pretzel you will ever fucking have. Boy.
Maybe it'll convince me, because I'm not a huge pretzel person.
You haven't had the right pretzel then, because holy shit.
You haven't had the right pretzel.
It's like fucking smoking weed. It's like the first couple times you're like, I don't really know, and then I give you the right strain. It's like, Auntie Anne's Pretzels, my friend, are the greatest thing ever. Okay? You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a soft, warm, just made pretzel with salt, with butter, and the right amount of oil, and then you just eat it. It's messy, it's fucking good, and it's oily, but it's amazing. That is an Auntie Anne's pretzel. And if you don't want all that mess, you can get pretzel sticks, which are like fucking sticks of those pretzels, and they're in like a cup, so you can just kind of eat them, and it's not as messy. But I like the messiness, so I get myself a pretzel.
It must be good, because you're just describing it, and I can feel my cholesterol just shooting through the roof.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
I got a fucking triple stack burger at Wendy's. I always do that because I'm insane and I hate my body, apparently. No.
I feel the same way, though. I haven't been to Wendy's in a long time, though, because the one by my house is being renovated right now. They're adding a drive-thru.
Last time I got a triple stack burger at Wendy's, I looked at my mother and I was like, they should really sell a bowl of Cheerios with this. I should just come on the side.
I gotta counteract it with something, because otherwise I'm just gonna drop dead on the way to the car. Oh, I was taking a shower sometime last week, and it was fairly early in the morning, and I had McDonald's breakfast.
That was the last time.
No, I had it this Monday too. I heavily enjoy their breakfast, although it's fucking awful for you. Like, it is going to be the death of me one day, because I think I came really close to having a heart attack when I was in the shower.
Wait, which breakfast was this?
McDonald's.
Oh. See, the McDonald's breakfast around here isn't very good.
Did you like it when you were up here?
It was alright.
Alright. Well, I heavily enjoyed what I got. I got pancakes and 2 biscuits with eggs on them. This was the day I didn't have class. So I'm at home, I'm showering, and I'm sitting in the shower, and I'm just like, I can't fucking breathe.
That's how I feel when I go to IHOP.
And I was just like trying to catch my breath, and I was like opening the window and lowering the heat of the shower. I was like, maybe I'm too hot. Maybe like it's just like there's so much humidity in the air, I can't take air out of it, which is not scientifically like reasonable.
Or there's this pancake joint out in I almost said the Himalayas out.
Yeah, those Himalayan pancake joints. Gotta love that shit.
No, there's this fucking pancake joint, and there's several of them out in the mountains where I go.
Yeah.
And it's called Flapjacks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, by the way, how was that this year? I never asked you.
It was fine.
Oh yeah, okay. Because fucking like last year it was like a big ordeal because we had to like change the day we did DFOS, and I was like, I'm gonna have to ask him about this. And then this year it was like, we did it, and I completely forgot about it.
There was I told you about the strange person who approached me in Walmart, right?
I think you told me. I don't know if you told it on recording though.
I think I might have. Anyway, that.
All right, well, whatever.
That was really the only thing of note that happened. I mean, last time I had the story about the guy falling down the fucking escalator.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had a story like that.
It's always stories about special people when I go to the mountains.
Yeah, because word.
Which I mean, if you've ever been to the Appalachians, you would realize that there are a lot of special people in the mountains.
That sounds sounds like such a weird way to describe it. Special people in the mountains.
No, let me just tell you, mountain people frighten me.
They do. They frighten me too.
I'm like, oh god.
Whether it's like the classic rugged mountain man, or just like people who are just isolating themselves in the mountains.
No, you can tell when you go there that the gene pool is not very varied.
They don't have a lot of options.
There was I saw a woman in Walmart who had a bigger mustache than I did.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Have you shaved since I last saw you?
No.
Because yours is pretty fucking bushy, so that's fucking terrifying.
No, wait, I never shave it completely off. I do get it trimmed when I get my hair cut, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
I never shave.
Well,
off.
Listen, let me say this. If there are any ladies listening...
And there's this fucking guy that came to my church growing up named Brother George, who had this big bushy mustache that made my mustache...
Brother George?
He had this big bushy mustache that made my mustache...
I fucking love that name.
He had this big bushy-ass mustache that made my mustache look like a pussy. And when I saw this woman in Walmart there for a second, I was like, Brother George?
Sister George, I'll have you know. Maybe it was him, he got a sex change.
You know how when you go to Walmart at like 2 a.m., the most terrifying...
Wait. At 2 a.m., your Walmart's open till 2 a.m.?
Our Walmarts are open all the time.
24/7?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine closes at 12.
Oh, I forget. You don't have like the super center thing going on up there, do you?
No, not down. There's one near me. I haven't been to it yet.
Okay, see, I live in the land of the Walmart Supercenter, and they are open 24 hours a day.
There's one upstate that I went to, and I was thoroughly... It was like a mini mall. It was crazy.
Yeah, they have everything, and we have 4 of them in my town now. Anyway...
That's fucking overkill. No wonder fucking independent businesses are dying.
If you go in there at 2 o'clock in the morning, you will see some of the strangest, like, people, like, you know the hobo you always see in the movie with, like, the tinfoil, and, like, he's wearing, like, a house coat walking around town with a bucket?
Right. Swing away, Merle, swing away.
It's like those people, and it's even worse in the mountains.
I bet. Well, no, it's like fucking... Even here, like, whenever I go to Walmart, I always leave just thoroughly depressed. Like, just critically depressed.
You go in, there's like the 85 person, welcome to Walmart, get your shit and get out.
They're always in a wheelchair. I'm just like, oh, I'm so depressed.
This is the only job I could get because ageism rules our economy.
But you just go in there, you see just, like, the fucking, like the people just struggling to stay fucking afloat in this god-awful world we live in. And you're just like, I feel a shocking degree of sympathy for these people, and I'm just fucking like, and then I'm like, oh, but wait a minute, that's kind of assholeish of me to say, because I'm fucking one of these people, I'm shopping at Walmart.
Yeah. And they treat their employees like shit.
Oh, like a Walmart employee is the worst customer service job on the planet.
Until you make it to like being like a manager or something. Apparently it gets better then. But if you're just like the guy on the cashier, your life is fucked.
Yeah, I fucking bet. It's just like they all have to wear gloves. I've never seen cashiers who don't like make food who have to wear gloves. Have you?
No. And then there's this one cashier at one of our Walmarts that fucking creeps me out because he's one of those people who's just too nice, like unnaturally nice.
Yep, know that person.
And in the back of my head, I'm like, how are you this happy? You work at fucking Walmart.
Right, it's like, how dare you be happier with your life than me? I don't work at a Walmart. No, but last time I went to Walmart, I was going to turn in my change, which I usually go to Walmart with that because it's close to my house. Everywhere else I can do it is kind of a drive away. Although I should go somewhere else because Walmart rips you off for it. They charge you like $5 for fucking however much it is. I think it's 10% of whatever you do.
Well,
so
it
depends.
One of the services our Walmart offers is that they send MoneyGrams for people, which that's like if you want to send money to somebody.
What is a MoneyGram? It's just like it's basically like an account transfer, but with a cool name.
Yeah, so basically like if you need to send money to a relative who lives like a few counties over, you can do it through Walmart, and then basically you give the money to your Walmart, and then they pick it up at their Walmart. And
that sounds mad shady.
And naturally, there's a surcharge because they have to make a profit on it, and it's
right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it.
So it's like $3 or $4 to like send them some money.
Yeah, fuck that. They do it everywhere. Those things, like you have to go to a bank you're a member of that happens to have one of these things in order to get it for free, and the bank I'm a member of doesn't have it.
Bastards.
Yeah, so I'm either going to have to go to Walmart or Wallbounds, which I don't know if you know what a Wallbounds is. Do you have those down there?
No, we've had this conversation before.
Oh, have we? Okay, well that's like my grocery store.
That's the Walmart of the North.
No. Walmart is the Walmart of the North. What's that one you mentioned earlier? You know what a Food Lion is?
Yeah, we have Food Lions. Or we used to have Food Lions. They all closed down in my town because they were shitty as fuck.
Well, that Walmart is like the Food Lion of New York, kind of.
Yeah, it's so weird because we have all these buildings in my town that used to be Food Lions that have closed down, and like it's always like some like cheap ass consignment store will like buy the property.
It's fucking crazy. We had a building like that similar for years, ever since I was a kid. Avis, which was something. My grandmother used to work there. I don't know what they did. I don't know why they did what they did, but it was a building that was there, and it was shut down for like 15 years.
I don't know why they did what they did.
I don't know what they did, though. It was just called Avis, so we called it the Avis building.
The Anus building?
The Avis building.
Oh, right, yeah.
If it was the Anus building, I would have gone in there a lot sooner in my life. I never actually went in there, but I heard stories. So, condemned building.
Bill, are you telling me that you've never gone into the Anus?
Anyway, Avis. So, what was a popular thing to do amongst the youth of my town? I was not one of these people.
You're like, I ain't no proctologist.
Listen, man, I've heard Kevin Smith talk about proctology. It's a terrifying art. But it is art. So it was
very popular amongst youth in your area to explore the anus.
The Avis, although I'm sure that was quite popular as well.
Yet another thing that other youth in your town was doing, but you were not.
Fuck you. I don't really like the ass play. Anyway, this is a conversation for another day. So it was popular amongst the youth of my community to break into this Avis building, and just because they could.
I guarantee you right now there are people listening to this podcast who wish we were having the other conversation.
Well, we're almost done with this episode, so we're going to save that for another day. So you break into this building, and you fuck around in it, maybe explore the anus.
Who's doing it now?
And it was very, very popular. I never did it because I didn't want to be arrested.
The anus has often been popular, yeah.
Yeah, it has been. And a bunch of my friends got arrested one night because they did this. And
because they went into the anus?
Because they went into the anus.
That's the kind of shit they do in Russia. That ain't...
So, now, the anus has been converted into a mall.
Oh.
Very, very barbaric. No, so now there's a mall there, and it's not that building anymore, and it's really depressing. But later in life, I got my run of going into condemned buildings. There was a closed-down nursery near my school, my college, and we wanted to shoot something there. We got stopped before we were able to do it, so we weren't able to do it. But we went into this place to get to do some location scouting, so we were able to do that. And it was this creepy-ass place. It had been closed since 2003, and we went there last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fucking creepy. Like, all the computers were, like, old school. There were, all these, farmer's manuals from 2003. It looks like somebody just abandoned the place. Like, I think it got wrecked in a hurricane or something, because it was, destroyed. There was, fungus everywhere. It was fucking terrifying. So we wanted to shoot a horror thing in there, but we weren't able to, so.
Mm.
You ever break into a condemned building?
No.
No? I don't imagine that's a huge thing you do down there, though. You probably don't have a ton of condemned buildings.
Well, I'll tell you. In Nashville. In a, offshoot of Nashville. A fucking, I don't know if you would call it a suburb, because it's almost like a mini town.
So,
it's
a district of Nashville.
I guess you could call it that. I don't know exactly what the proper terminology would be to use to describe this place. Anyway, there's this place called Hickory Hollow. This is where that cheap-ass $2 movie theater is that I go to sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's become the asshole of Nashville, pretty much. Because
the literal anus, or just an asshole, fuck you?
Asshole, that's because that's where all the shitty people are.
Okay. So it was a direct metaphor, okay.
That and this other place called Antioch. The only difference is that Hickory Hollow has become the ghetto, and Antioch is more of the little Mexico. But I digress. Anyway, there's this mall the Hickory Hollow Mall. That used to be. I remember when I was a young warthog.
When I was a young... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
This was the mall to go to because it was nice and it had like the best food court. Everything was in there, and it had tons of stores. There was a nice place where I could find rare movies. Bought my first Gamera DVDs in there. It was a great mall.
I bought my first Gamera DVDs in the mall too. That's weird.
It was a great mall.
I guess that's not that weird. Oh, go ahead.
Due to the recession, the mall failed miserably, and it's still open.
Thanks, Obama.
The mall's still open, but like there's like 2 stores, and it's like
yeah, we have something like that over here. Yeah,
and it's directly across from like that shitty $2 movie theater that I go to sometimes. It's like you can come out, you can look over at the parking lot, and like there's nobody there. Every now and then, like a tumbleweed goes by. And, like I just look at it and I think I feel like I'm in Detroit.
Yeah, and you were in Detroit this year, so.
Yeah, I was in Detroit in 2014, and it was nicer than that. But then again, it was the airport, which is apparently the nicest part of Detroit because it was a nice-ass airport. Not that I have a lot of airports to compare it to.
Yeah. I still can't believe they made you lay over in Detroit. That's fucking crazy.
Stupid. I don't fucking understand. I mean, it was the short...
I'm so glad my parents got me a non-stop flight to California.
Well, I had a fucking non-stop flight for the fucking weather. Fuck my shit up.
Fuck you, New York weather. Go fuck yourself.
It was a short-ass layover, though. I literally got off of my plane, came out of the gate, got on the little conveyor belt like Jackie Brown, and as soon as I got to my next gate, we were boarding.
So you were a strong, independent black woman who don't need no man.
Yeah, I was.
Across 110th Street. So anyway, as we were saying.
No, that was the end of the story. It was a short-ass layover.
Oh, okay. Well, no, but back to the stuff in Nashville.
No, that was about it.
Oh, okay, so there are condemned buildings there, but you haven't been in them.
Yeah, there are areas that have gone to shit.
Isn't Nashville like just a city that constantly goes to shit?
No, it's maintained pretty well.
Oh, I thought you told me that it was like fucked up.
No, I don't remember telling you that.
Oh, okay, well maybe I was delusional.
There are like little ass towns all around Tennessee that have been around since the fucking like 1800s, and now they're like there's nothing there.
I mean, we have stuff like that in New York where we just have like small pockets of towns where it's like, what the fuck happened here? Wyandanch, White Castle, I think it's called. See, whenever I say White Castle, I'm like, but there's like a bunch of White Castle restaurants on Long Island. So I don't know if it might be called Newcastle. I'm not sure. If anybody listening is from Long Island, you'll know what I mean. It's infamous.
One of those places where you go and you're like, hey, anything of interest ever happened here? Yeah, we had a witch trial once.
We once killed somebody we thought was a werewolf. Interesting.
How long ago was that? Like 200 years. My granny will tell you all about it. Hey, Granny!
Tell him about that werewolf boy. What? What are they selling? No, he wants to hear about the werewolf boy. Where's the wolf? Granny? Oh, I'm so sorry.
There, wolf. There, castle. Why are you
talking that way?
That's how you wanted to.
No, I don't want to.
Suit yourself, I'm easy.
What did you want, young man? To get the fuck out of here.
Oh, you just take the interstate.
Well, thanks. You're welcome. Sonny boy.
Glad I could be of service. I'm gonna go back to knit and watch my stories.
Sonny boy, who was that young lady that just came in here?
That was a man. A man? Well, that was the most effeminate man I've ever seen.
He was wearing a Godzilla shirt and everything.
Granny, that's a predominantly male fan base.
Oh, I don't know. I was 100 when Godzilla first came out.
I was the young, sexy age of 94.
I was getting laid left and right. And then this movie comes out with a young man named Raymond Burr in it. And I wanted to have lots of sex with him.
All the old codgers down at the nursing home thought I was just the nicest piece of ass they'd ever seen.
The 35, no, the 75-year-old mental patients wanted to do me.
Unfortunately, their hearts were not up to it. Oh, you mean they...
Whenever they tried, they died.
Oh, you mean they couldn't go through with it? They weren't up to it? No, they fucking died.
They tried, too.
In my bed.
I had a lot of bare bodies to bury before I retired.
The sheriff thought it was awful suspicious and thought I was a serial killer.
And I was like, Sheriff. Oh, Granny, I didn't need to hear that, but that's how I got off, you see. That's how you got off from being put in jail? No, that's how I got off with coming.
You see, he thought I was the most prolific serial killer in all the world.
So it was kind of like Catwoman and Batman. He fucked me because he was scared of me.
She keeps going into intimate details about her sex life. You're like, Granny, please.
Please stop. But, Sonny boy, I have so few people to talk to. That nice young lady Godzilla fan just left, and I was going to tell him all those escapades.
Well, do you have any stories that are not about sex? Listen here, boy. I think it's about time you learn. Your granny's a slut bag.
I'm an old whore.
So
all I did in my time was watch monster movies and have salacious amounts of sex.
I remember when Boss Hogg was inserting his thumb into my vagina.
Oh, Granny, and Boss Hogg. Oh, what? Fucking Dukes of Hazzard?
I met him.
The actor or the character? Both.
He was a nice young man.
A nice young man of 63. I was a cougar.
I, of course, was the tight young age of 106.
The tight young age. My body had never been tighter. I looked like a vacuum-sealed bag. That doesn't sound very appealing. It was to Boss Hogg.
Those were the days before plastic surgery, so we had to achieve facelift through safety pins.
Safety pins and selling our souls to the devil. But you burned a guy because you thought he was a werewolf. I'm also a hypocrite and a racist and kind of a terrible human being.
As are most people from my generation. Now about the salacious sex.
Would you like to hear about the time I fucked Bela Lugosi? No, wait, you fucked Bela Lugosi? You bet your boots I did.
Would you like to hear about the time that me and all the men who ever played Jason Voorhees had an orgy?
Granny, how old were you at that point? Oh, I was the ripe young age of 145.
It was last month.
It just happened a couple hours ago. You were out talking to that nice young lady, Godzilla fan. You should have asked her out, Steven. You really need to start being more outgoing with your women, as I was with my men. Granny, I don't want to be anything like you with your men.
Granny, let's just...
Yeah, you're probably right. My vagina fell off when I was about 20 years ago, so it's probably a bad idea.
I remember once when I was in bed with Mark Zuckerberg.
I didn't even remember it. I thought that was very peculiar. Same thing happened with Mr. Bill Cosby.
I invented Facebook and he took all the credit.
That son of a bitch piece of shit. I still use MySpace to this day for that reason. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck him right up his tight little ass. Just like I did.
He's trying to walk away from the story. She's like, come back here, boy. I was just about to tell you about the time I blew Gary Coleman.
Oh, no, God. Well, and then she just croaks dead. So Grandma's dead.
People in town thought I was with a child. I tried to explain to him that he was just a midget.
They tried to burn me just like they did that werewolf boy. And back when I ended up with mental patients in my bed dead.
Did I ever tell you that I am the real-life mother of Freddy Krueger?
So you were gang raped by several psychos in the closet? Yes, I was, Sonny. That's how you were born.
That was a true story. The only difference is it wasn't rape.
Well, I think we've taken this bit about as far as it can go before I start vomiting.
Did I ever tell you about the time that Alan showed me his surfing gun?
Grandma, stop, please. I'm going to kill myself. Oh, did I ever tell you about the time that I fucked another suicidal man and he used me to kill himself? I crushed his balls.
I'm seriously going to kill myself, Grandma. I'm going to hang myself. Oh, that reminds me. I have a story about autoerotic asphyxiation.
Dylan, do you have anything to announce? Because I got a couple things. Oh, your Jew Ranger top 10. You should be sure to mention that, because you just released that.
Oh, yeah, the fucking Jew Rangers.
Jew Ranger! Jew Ranger!
I released part 1 of my promised top 10 episodes of Jew Ranger list.
Jew Sentai! Jew Ninja!
I would suggest not watching it until you've seen the series, because they're...
Which is why I haven't watched it yet.
Because spoilers are ahead. I mean, I don't go into great detail, but I do summarize episodes.
Spoilers! Rita doesn't win in the end. Or Bandora, rather, doesn't win in the end.
No, Rita does not win in the end because she doesn't fucking exist.
Oh.
Yeah, I released that. Part 2 will be up as soon as I fucking get it done. There's a little bit more of a process with this than what I usually do with Kaiju Spotlight. Like it's scripted. So I have to finish writing the damn thing and then record it and get a shit ton of screenshots.
You do what I do.
So...
You use VLC?
You
use VLC?
Oh, of course, it's the easiest way to get a screenshot.
So easy. I fucking love VLC.
It's like, what, is it Shift S or Control S?
I use Shift.
Yeah, I think it's Shift.
I think Shift is the default. I never changed it because it was easy enough with that.
Oh, yeah, that's what I use. Just fucking pause it at the spot you want it, Shift S.
Oh, I don't even pause. I just keep going.
Now, see, I pause to make sure that I get the exact shot that I want.
I used to pause, and then with Godzilla Palooza, when I first started doing it, I would pause, and I stopped enjoying the movies. So I was like, I'm just going to watch through this, because otherwise I'm going to hate this thing.
Oh, you were getting the screenshots at the same time as you were watching them to review them?
Yes.
See, this is a completely different situation. I already have my list made and, like, all that shit, like... I'm not rewatching and getting the snapshots in the same like step. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's probably the smarter way to do it. But when I was doing daily reviews of 30 Godzilla movies, I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And with Gamera Palooza, that's how it was too.
I said in the video that I wanted to try and get part 2 out in the following weeks, but I don't know if it's going to be that soon because, again, there's a little bit more of a process involved here, and I haven't gotten a lot of the writing done for part 2. I might have to go into some more detail with the summarizations on this because the top 5 is made up of some of the biggest like story moments from the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's coming. And then more Kaiju Spotlight at some point in the future. By overwhelming request, the next episode will be about fucking Gorgo.
Yeah, I figured that. Everybody was like, "Do Gorgo!
Do fucking Gorgo! Do it!"
I don't think anybody was like, "Don't do Gorgo. It's stupid."
Everybody was like, "Fuck Gorgo." So yeah, Gorgo. That'll be what I'm doing.
Cool. Very, very cool. I have a couple things to announce, a couple plans, a couple things that are already in the bag that I'm going to release. We just recorded a review of Godzilla Rulers of Earth Volume 4. That'll be coming in the next week or so. I have 2 podcasts to get up before that, so those take precedent, but that'll be up soon. Look out for the next episode of SOS, one of my favorite episodes in recent memory, so be sure to look out for that. That's episode 40. Also be sure to, this is way thinking down the line. I don't know when I'm going to do this. Probably not for... I would almost say probably not till after this semester is over. I'm going to do a 2-part top 10 list for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and for Angel.
Where'd you get that idea, Bill?
Well, I was going to do it anyway, and then you did G-Ranger first, so I was worried you were going to think I was ripping you off. I'm not, because I want to talk about, well, the other thing is, like, those shows will be difficult because they're serialized.
And it's split into 2 parts? Yeah, fucking...
Well, it's still the 2 parts because I'm doing 2 separate shows.
Oh, I get it.
I'm doing 1 part about Buffy and 1 part about Angel. I was originally going to do kind of an overview of both series, but I don't have enough to say. Because if you want to listen to somebody who knows a lot about the series more than I do talk cool about Buffy, watch the Passion of the Nerds reviews. He does episodic reviews for Buffy, and he's up to season 2. So go look out for those. Those are really good.
Or I don't know if there are interviews with Joss Whedon.
There are. He, the way he explains Angel is going to be really, really important to my analysis of Angel when I get there. He has a really interesting explanation for why Angel is so different from Buffy. But I'm going to do Buffy first. I'm going to do it in the complete opposite way I watched the series. I'm going to do Buffy first. When I finish it, I'm almost done with season 5. And then I'm gonna do Angel. I'll probably have to rewatch a little bit of that because it's been a while. So
you need to fucking, when you're done with fucking Buffy and Angel, you need to fucking finish Breaking Bad.
I will. That's my next thing.
You need to hunker down on Breaking Bad and Jew Ranger. Get those motherfuckers out of the way.
Yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll do like a thing of like I'll watch 1 episode of Breaking Bad, then 2 episodes of the Jew Ranger. 1 episode of Breaking Bad, 2 episodes of the Jew Ranger. That'll work. That'll be a weird combination, but I'll do it. And then soon after that,
serious ass meth drama followed by Jew Ranger.
Jew Ranger. So you and I will be reviewing Jew Ranger at some point following that.
Yeah.
Who
knows how far in the future that is?
Yeah, who knows? That'll be some point down the line. So we'll be doing that soon. That's about it. So until next time, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm Super Game 64.
And as always, them Germans, they be fucked up.
But not as fucked up as your granny.
No, Grandma has fucked several fucked up Germans, boy!